Good evening. I hope all can hear me.
Yeah.
Okay. Good day to all. We will be starting the webinar in 1 to 2 minutes, just waiting for a few more attendees to join. Let's wait only for a minute and then we can start. Hi, hello, good day to all. Thank you for taking time from your busy schedule. I'm Sharbari. I'm the Senior Business Development Executive, Sciences Technologies. This webinar is on product regulatory trends and updates. The presentation will be for 30 to 45 minutes. And there is a lot of noise from some. The presentation will be for 30 to 45 minutes, and we have the Q&A session for 15 minutes. We have planned the Q&A session towards the end of the webinar. During the session, if you have any queries, you can put them in the chat box. Speakers for the webinar are Santhanand Shanmugam. He is our director and environmental compliance head. And we have Gaurav Thakre, who is a senior technical lead for product compliance management. One last thing before I hand it over to Santhanand. We will be recording this webinar, and the webinar recording will be shared with all of you along with the PPT of the webinar. I hand it over to Mr. Santhanand. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Sharvari. Thank you for the quick introduction. Hey, I'm Santhanand Shanmugam. I'm Director and CTO in iLenses. I'm here giving the webinar from India, Hyderabad. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening for the people who have joined from different geographical locations. And thank you for joining us today. So we are going to run through these topics today. So our agenda is, we will give you an overview of iLenses and the offerings that we provide in product environmental compliance. And the other topics like say RoHS, REACH, and PFAS, the updates of regulations will be given by Gaurav. So I will be giving the introductory and the offerings, and the rest will be given by Gaurav. So we can go to the next slide, Gaurav. Yeah. So here is. So our vision is to provide innovative and comprehensive engineering services and digital services and the different solutions to the different customers. Say we have divisions like say services and solutions. In services, we have engineering services like say immersive technologies, and in solutions, we provide in two areas. One is the product environmental compliance and the component obsolescence. We are located in three locations currently. So two from India. So one is in Hyderabad and the other one is in down south Coimbatore. And we have an office in USA. And we are about close to 400, around 400 people in our organization, and we are an ISO 9001 company, and we have certification for medical devices ISO 13485. And on the top right corner, you can see some of our major customers we serve, and we provide solutions as well. And the Hyderabad office location, a small photo is there on the bottom right corner. Yeah. And Gaurav, yeah. So here, when we look at our offerings, we used to gather details from the customer, and we analyze the data that what they have, and based on the inputs and the requirements, we collect the data from the manufacturer and the suppliers for different regulatory requirements. Once we collect the data, we validate the data, whether the data is relevant for us and will it solve the purpose of what is required. And once we have the right data, we will synthesize the data and standardize the data, put it in an appropriate right format, and we will move the complete data into our solution, which is called ILANSys Compliance Management. So it is a data management and reporting tool. So where you can see a quick dashboard view of where the product stands for different regions and for different regulations, and what data is still more needed for the customer to collect, and what are all the design changes or things that need to be taken care in the future they can plan. So ideally, the tool will provide you most of the data and detail in a single dashboard, which will help the customer to take the decision right on the right time. And once we have all these data, so for some of the components, or say for some of the critical components, we might not be able to get all the relevant data. So we do risk assessment internally, and we take, say, we include customer and the industry experts and our internal team. So we look from various angles and we do the risk analysis, and we provide the self declaration so that we would be able to give the complete product solution. Say 100 percentage bill of material will be covered for the entire product, and we will give the 100 percentage product solution for the product environmental compliance requirements for various regulatory requirements. And say when we look at the solution, it is not only with the current requirement. For the future requirements, our tool will keep updated for the future and upcoming requirements. So, for example, we will be upgrading every 6 months for which regulatory requirements, and it will be, say, once the reach candidate list is released, it will be updated within a couple of weeks. So we will be continuously monitoring the data, and we provide a proactive solution to the customer. So this is the overall thing. So now I pass on to Gaurav. Gaurav, you can take it from here.
Thank you, Santha. Good morning, good evening, and good afternoon, everyone. So I will be taking you through the updates, the major updates on different regulations across the world. So starting with EU RoHS updates. So there are two new substances which are going to be added into EU RoHS regulation, which is supposed to be updated by end of this year. And once it is added, it is something will get an effective by 2024. So two new substances which are proposed to be added is one is the MCCP, medium chain chlorinated paraffins, and another one is TBBP. So the applications of the substances, the mainly MCCP is widely used as a flame retardant and plasticizers in plastic, rubbers, and other polymers. So this substance has an application across multiple industries wherever you see uh, because of its unique characteristics of flame retardant and plasticizer. So it's been used in the electronic industries as well. It is used in the insulated PVC insulated cables. Then it is used in the flexible plastic rubber components. So it's basically widely being used. So this is something I will say with the addition of two new chemicals, the list will be growing from 10 to 12. So the another substance is TBBPA, which is bisphenol A, which is also having applications mainly as a flame retardant. So it is used in the printed whiteboards as a reactive flame retardant, and also moreover it is also being used in epoxy sealants, adhesives, and packaging materials. So you can see that is being used in the housings or enclosures or plastic components. This has also been getting regulated with a threshold of 0.1% at homogeneous level. It will be restricted. So companies need to plan in advance, so to make sure the product get comply before the target timeline, which will be announced by end of this year. And hopefully, as we have seen in past, there is some extended timeline being given to medical manufacturer, medical companies, and the industrial products. So may have some extended 1 year timeline may be given to comply with this two new substances. Okay. So about the enforcement, these are the recent few, we have tracked the data for recent few months, how the ROHS enforcement across different EU member states and what are the actions been taken. So most of the products what you see are need to be recalled by their manufacturer or the importers from the respective EU market, and also been asked to stop for the sale because those were found to have one or more than one restricted lead substances. So if you see there is a power supply, digital scale, blender, and body massagers. So these are the details being captured from the EU website, and the alerts numbers are also provided for reference. And most the three of the products been found to have a lead which is present over the given threshold, which is 0.1%. So this is having around 40+% lead over the permissible limit, and this is something to have 6.4%, and here you see 18%, which is the content in the soldiers. And the last product is having a DEHP and DBP as a substance above the threshold. So we need to make sure, companies need to make sure the product does not contain any of the EU RoHS restricted substances when those products are getting imported, manufactured, or produced in the EU countries. Coming to China RoHS updates, so there are some updates going to be there in the China RoHS soon. So existing China RoHS has 6 substances similar to the RoHS 2, which is 2011 RoHS directive. So a new upcoming updates which started the new upcoming update will have the phthalates also to be proposed to be added into China RoHS. So after that, it will be having the same 10 substances as of EU RoHS, and it will be mirroring with EU RoHS directive in terms of the substances. So already this is being started in this year March, and then currently the research and other things are being conducted by MIT, which is basically governing this regulation from China. And then revised standards will be expected to be ready, and then we hopefully that by end of this year we'll have the announcement to have this restricted substances to be added, pellets to be added by next year in the requirements. Apart from that, the product labeling marking is already there as per the standard, which you see the standard which defines the marking and labeling requirement. So basically, the marking labeling requirement, like you need to have a label where if there is none of the restricted substances present, then that's something we can say eco-friendly. So that may be e-label, and if there is any of the substance been present, then that has to have along with the given time period of the product has to be used, should be given. So one of these two labels has to be there along with a table which will mention specifically the substances which are extending the threshold in the given component in the given product. So this is something mandatory to have when we need to take out a declaration for the China RoHS for any product to comply. It should have the labeling requirement, which will include the symbol along with the table. Okay. So apart from this, it is also in Europe, you have a C marking. Then China, we have something called triple C marking that China, the products needs to be compliant. Yeah. So another update is from UK RoHS. So after Brexit, UK has, because of Brexit, UK has to come up with its own regulation to meet the RoHS obligation, which started from last year. And basically the current directive or current regulation in UK is similar to, in many terms, it is similar to EU RoHS, where it's the same 11 product categories and the same 10 substances as in EU RoHS. And the initial exemptions, which were in EU RoHS, are already being carried forward into UK RoHS. But basically, going forward, UK RoHS will have their own system where exemption list will be maintained and then it will be updated. So that is a separate process will be available. So major update was like post Brexit, where C marking was available or what applicable for Great Britain, but now in UK we need to have UKCA marking starting from next year, which will be mandatory. So like in Europe, for all the RoHS compliant products, C marking is mandatory. So in UK it will be UKCA mark will be replacing C marking from next year onwards. So we have some updates on UAE RoHS regulation. So the UAE version of RoHS. So UAE RoHS was published back in 2017, and it came into force in 2018. It has most of the similarities with EU RoHS. I will say it is something derived from EU RoHS. It has the same 10 substances, the same 11 product categories as you see in the EU RoHS, and similar exemptions. But there are no expired dates available. So these are all the similarities. But when it comes to differences, this doesn't, UAE RoHS no longer recognize C mark, and you need to basically have the UAE specific marking on the product. The UAE conformity certificate has to be there, and Emirates Standard and Metrology Bureau, ESMA, is the body who will be basically offering this conformity certificates for the companies when they comply with RoHS. And this is something we need to apply on the website and fill the required documents. And there is a process where you can get the ESMA marking. So basic documents required are the declaration of compliance, then RoHS certificate, material test reports, mainly wherever required, sometimes only for critical components those are required. Then risk assessment documentation as per IC 63000 standard. So ESMA basically offer two types of basic certificates. One is a Emirates Certificate Assessment Scheme, ECAS, which you see this type of mark, and another with the Emirate Quality Mark. So basic difference, what you see there in the first one, there is no site audit required, and it has validity only for a year. And you need to have a testing for the critical components used in your product from the accredited lab, mainly the most of the time those are enable accredited labs. And then you have the Emirate quality mark, which have a longer validity, like 3 years, and annual on-site audit required. Here you may also need to involve the notified body when it comes to on-site audit. And here the self-declaration on the conformity assessment is accepted. Then that's some differences when it comes to the two certification schemes. So we have some updates in the REACH, mainly in the REACH candidate list, the SVSC list coming in the next year. So currently, as you already know, like current REACH SVSC candidate list include 224 substances of very high concern, which was updated back in June 22. And there are 9 new substances being proposed to be added into SVSC candidate list, and these are the proposed substances what you see in the list now. So these are open for the feedback and comments from the interested parties or the companies who basically are using this substance in the product. And this is something open till 17th of October, like this month. And after that, ICA will be reviewing the comments and then finalizing the final list, which basically will move into the final implementation into REACH candidate list by next year update, like Jan 23. So expected like few of the substances from this 9 will go and will include in the REACH SVSC candidate list for Jan 23 version. So basically after that, 6 months after it is being included in the candidate list, after 6 months, companies need to make sure they are complying with the updated SVSC candidate list when they are importing or producing any products in the EU. Yeah, so we have a PFAS update. So this is an interesting topic, and which is catching some momentum nowadays. And there are many countries or many bodies are working on this. So we have put some more slides here on this. So basically, what is a PFAS? So it's a large group of perifluoroalkyl and polyfluoroalkyl substances, what we call, and these are also called as a forever chemicals, because they never disappear, or they last in the environment for a longer duration, and the bonds doesn't break. So that's why they're called as forever chemicals. So in a short, like it is also said that PFAS is a fluorinated substance that contains at least one fluorinated methyl or methylene carbon atom. So they are water soluble and highly mobile, so can easily contaminate converter. So that's the another issue. That's another challenge where PFAS restriction exists since long, but those were mainly for the contaminated water sources from the industry operations were being observed and needs to be reported. So exposure to PFAS has a hazardous impact on the environment as well as the human body. When it comes to humans, it accumulates and it causes the serious effects like cancer and liver damage and many other things. So these are the basically PFAS has many number of substances included inside it. So in the next slide we'll see the more details on that. So at high level, you see it has the PFAS as a product family has multiple substances inside this: PFOA, PFOS, then PFNA, PFDA, and polyfluoroalkyls, like that. So it's very difficult to analyze and put the substances in restriction. So there are agencies working on it. Then they keep on adding the restricted list of substances of PFAS to study and to regulate. So on high level, what you see an update from Department of Ecology, State of Washington, is that PFAS never disappeared from environment, which is why they are called as forever chemicals. 43 states in US have PFAS complaint drinking water, affecting more than 19 million people, and firefighting foam are called to be have major source of PFAS. And in recent testing, they are found to have almost everybody in the America has the PFAS in their blood, which they received from some other sources. Yeah. So what are the products which have a PFAS? We have listed few products here: circuit board films, conformal coatings, cleaning liquids, microelectronics, semiconductor, battery shock absorbers, and plastic cable. So these products, along with paints, you see like non-stick coatings, stain resistant sprays, and in foams you have firefighting foams. So this product, these products get PFAS and they release in the environment as a part of their life cycle, even it is during production or during the recycling stage or disposal or wherever you see, because those have a these are having a PFAS and those gets released in the environment when comes in the contact with uh, humans through different sources like inhalation. Those basically have a hazardous impact. So coming back to the next one, how is the PFAS restriction and reporting requirements being worked out across the different countries and different regulatory bodies? So you see in the EU PFAS regulation, the EU EPA, which is the Environmental Protection Agencies, have identified over 12,000 PFAS chemicals, and they have already put in place a year back a PFAS strategic roadmap from 2021 to 2024, which has outlined the actions to address the risk of PFAS uses. And this has many things to say. It has many things like it has a guidance on destroying and disposing certain PFAS containing materials, develop and validate methods to detect the PFAS environment, and it has like also like educate people about risk of PFAS and basically reduce the uses of PFAS, and also put some reporting and obligations in the industry. So TASCA, which is a Toxic Substance Control Act, which already is a regulation available. So it is going to amend to in the section 8. It is going to have 1364 PFAS chemicals to be added. So the manufacturers of these chemicals using the chemicals will have a reporting obligation of these chemicals when this enforcement on when this final rule is in place. So there are many existing upcoming state levels. So different states in the US have already a PFAS reporting requirement. So and there are upcoming new requirements already coming in the market. So California Proposition 65, which is for the California states, already includes most of the few of the PFAS substances, which basically need to be, which have a warning requirement. So Proposition have a warning requirement on the product. So even if you have any of the PFAS substances, which in the PFAS in the CA Prop 65 list, there has to be a warning requirement in of the presence of the substance, and then also need to have a supporting documentation. EU regulation, in EU regulation, there are multiple existing regulation in the EU, which already include PFAS as a part of different EU regulations. So, which you see under each also you have PFAS restricted and the restricted list in the EU POP also, and as a part of Stockholm Convention include PFOS, PFOA, and other PFAS, other chemicals part of PFAS family. So the two PFCA and PFHS are considered to be included in the Stockholm Convention. The POP has been banned in the POP regulation since 2020, and Netherlands, along with 4 different countries, are also working on a proposal to ban the PFAS from the Europe. So that is also in place, and we expect that to be have a final draft available by next year. In terms of Canada, Canada government is also considering the activities that will address PFAS as a class. So they will they will publish a report on the PFAS, which will summarize the relevant information. So that will be basically banned or prohibit the manufacture, sale, and use of few substances from the PFAS family like PFOS, PFOA, and PFCAs. So these are the few PFAS restrictions in the EU starting back in 2009 as a part of Stockholm Convention of it was like a PFOS was included there, and in the annexure A of the regulation, and it is basically the function of this PFOS is it is basically used in the stain resistant coatings in textile, oil resistant coatings, and firefighting foam, photographic application, and also in the hydraulic fluids. So because of the unique characteristics PFAS have, those are having wide applications in the industry. In the 2020, their PO4A was included again back, and it has similar applications. Then PFCAs is proposed to be included in next year, Feb 2023, as a part of EU Annexure 17 list, and there is a plan to include the few of the other PFAS in 2024. You see PFHS to be included, same in the uh, REACH Annexure 17 list, and PFHA is to be included also in the Annexure 17, and other two also. So uh, by next 7 to 8 years, most of the PFAS or many of the PFAS substances will be restricted as a part of REACH Annexure 17, which is restricted list, and those has to be checked when so suppliers, manufacturer, designing a product design will basically have to focus on um, trying to avoid these substances as a part of their supply chain. So coming back to the last topic, today's last topic is a skip submission, where skip submission, we see like recently we see like millions of submissions, around 7 to 8 millions of submission in the ICA database, what ICA has declared from around thousands of suppliers. So so the database, you can access the database here, which when the submission are available, you can access database and check if your product submission is available. And this is a free public database available when this product is being submitted into ICA database. And for new updates on the risk candidate list or SVSC list, manufacturer or companies need to again evaluate their product if there are any changes in their product compliance as per REACH regulation, based on the recent REACH candidate list, and if there are some components getting non-compliant, then basically they need to review and do the skips. They need to update their skip submission in the ICA database. So we basically do it once a year. We define a frequency, like if there are updates in the product, there are BOM updates, or there are updates, or also there are updates in the ICA, the REACH SVSC candidate list, then we can review the submission and update is whenever necessary. So your product will have a update history in the skip database. It won't have a duplicate record. It will get updated, and you will see the when you go and search this, there are different search available options. So when you go and search it, you will find your product with the updated record available. Yeah. So coming back to a few last slide, this is about our ILANSYS compliance manager tool. So which we basically used when we check the compliance of the product, the customer product, with the different regulations we discussed, and there are many others we work on this tool. So there are basic features. How do the tool support is it can import and maintain the product bill of material as well as the manufacturer contact details. So we can import, we can scrub the bill of material and then import into the system, and then we can connect back to the suppliers asking for the different regulation requirements, like starting from the toxic substance control like REACH, RoHS, CA Prof 65, and different RoHS around the world. Storing compliance and data, we store the data, we keep this updated. So in the regulation updates, we keep the data also updated. Regulate software updates as per regulation. So for any new updates in the regulation, the software will update the chemical substances, and the which will show the updated compliance information. So the dashboard will be providing you for every product specific, as well as the high level, site level, or the manufacturing site. For respective site also, you can get a separate dashboard to see the compliance info. We have a skip submission feature, which is a system to system submission. It can be done through the compliance manager tool. So you can create a product dossier within the tool, and you can do the submission. You can update a dossier. So it's very easy. It's with the API, it is integrated with the ICA database, and you don't need to do a manual submission. It's just with the system to system integration, you can do the submissions for your products and revise it. As Santha mentioned in his earlier slide, we also have a risk-based approach available in the our solution, which is a unique feature. The compliance reports are available. You can take out a report for the compliance of product with the different regulations, whichever you want, or you can also customize your report based on your requirement. One second. Yeah, so this is a just a dashboard screen, a snapshot of the dashboard what we have as a for any site. How you can see here we are only showing for RoHS and REACH the versions, and yeah, we can also import FMD, IPC 1752A XML formats into the tool, and also it can read the different compliance standard files. So it can provide you details at your site level or the complete manufacturing facility, like how many parts are compliant, what are the different life cycle status, and in compliance with the different regulation. And also a product level risk chart will have able to help you to get an how many components are non-compliant, or how many components at risk at life cycle and how many are at risk at REACH and RoHS. Yeah, so this is a summary slide for the solution and services we provide as a one-stop solution for the compliance of the different environmental regulations for your products. Ensure the product meets the required environmental compliance requirement, and as I mentioned, regular software updates with as per the regulation updates. And we have a dedicated software compliance team of experts supporting the specific requirements. Work with the standard laboratories also when we need to have a product being tested for the specific regulation based on the risk assessment we carry. So the key differentiation is the complete ownership of the product compliance, starting from the material to delivering the final report, and as a part of software and data services both. So we try to get the 100% compliance of all the parts in the BOM, where we use a different approach like risk-based assessment, and wherever required a self-declaration approach as well. And proactive environmental compliance management reporting, where we offer different types of reporting as a customized report also. So this is a summary of the solution services. I guess we are on the last slide on the questions, if anything is there. Yeah, you can put your question in the chat window, or you can also unmute yourself if you want to ask any questions. Anything is fine. Sharvari, do we have any questions so far?
Nothing yet.
Okay.
I have unmuted the attendees. If anyone is interested in asking question, they can unmute and ask the question.
Yeah, please go ahead. If you have any questions, you can put in the chat window, or you can also unmute and ask. Okay, maybe I don't think any questions are there. If you have any other question, you can also email us. You can send an email. Yeah.
There is one question from Nilesh Patel. He is asking if the company is based in USA.
The company is based in India. We have offices in US, but most of the work which is taken care from India. Yeah.
Yeah. You can approach to, I guess, to Sharvari, or you can also reply to our email in case if you have any questions about this webinar. I guess I don't see any other questions.
Yes, yes. So I would like to thank Mr. Gaurav and Mr. Santa for giving us valuable insights on product regulatory trends and updates. Very special thank to all the attendees. Hope you learned something new today. We will be sharing the recorded version of this webinar with the attendees and the non-attendees. Also, you will get a PDF of the PPT which is being shared during the webinar. In case if anyone has a question or is has the question but could not ask it, they can write to us. And we are planning a webinar really soon. We will keep you updated and post about it on LinkedIn and send you an email. Hope you enjoyed the webinar and learned something new. Thank you.
Thank you all. Thanks for joining.
Thank you all. Thank you for joining us today. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.